Hello and welcome back to the next part of the Tommy Wave budget deck series. Tom, and today we're going to do a deck that I've kind of been a little bit concerned about, just because it feels like at the moment it doesn't have any great budget options. But we've persevered, and I think I've got something that you might like. Once again, we'll go through the criteria of our budget decks. We don't have a set dust limit. We're not going to put any arbitrary numbers on there. We're instead going to focus on the core of the deck, which may have 4 to 6 rares, something like that. But the core of that deck can be molded, and you can add on top of that to create a deck for yourself. But that core is supposed to be budget, no epics, legendaries generally. We also want to have a reasonable upgrade path, so we want to look at some well-performing decks, some good decks, and we want to be able to slowly move our way towards that by adding cards in, spending a bit more dust. And we're also going to try and prioritize cards that aren't rotating. We just had a big announcement that we're going to go into the year of the Raven soon, which I'm looking forward to. So we're going to lose Karazhan, Gadget Zan, and Whispers of the Old Gods. So we don't want to really craft any rares or above from there. Anyway, as you heard me mention before, the class today is in a bit of a sad state, and that is Shaman. Sad state for budget reasons, but there are actually some great Shaman decks out there. I've got a couple here for you that I've pulled off of Vicious Syndicate. I've got Finan's Token Shaman. The idea of Token Shaman being that you want threats that come in multiple pieces, like the Saronite Chain Gang and the Doppelgangster, because these synergize really well with Evolve, Unstable Evolution, and Thrall Deathseer, because your Saronite Chain Gangs create 2 4-cost minions. So when we evolve them with Evolve, we can have 2 5-cost minions. And generally 5-cost minions are a little bit stronger than 2 3s. Same thing with the Doppelgangster, except even more so. And we've also got cards like Corridor Creeper and Thing from Below, which are expensive minions that we can get into play for cheaper, for less than expensive, and then use our Evolve effects on those. So it is a deck that has a fair bit of RNG involved. You know, you can high roll, you can low roll on your Evolves. But overall, that theme of just threats that produce multiple minions is the whole game plan for the deck. I've also got Purple's Jade Shaman. A lot of these decks share a lot of the same cards, because Jades just so happen to be oftentimes things that produce multiple threats. This one here is playing more of a controlling role. We've got the Volcanoes, Junior Water Speakers for healing, and a lot of spot removal, even more healing in the deck. Some combos with Murmuring Elemental and like Cold Light Oracle or Thrall Deathseer, Aya even, and big high value cards like Grumble and Jade Chieftain. So this, as you can see, unfortunately, a lot of these decks contain a lot of rares and epics. Even cards like Maelstrom Portal, and Lightning Storm, and Volcano, all of these cards are rare, so we don't really have a lot of options to be controlling, as we usually don't when we're trying to be budget. So we've got to try and be aggressive. So we want to try and be more like this Token Shaman. Unfortunately, Evolve, Unstable Evolution, Thrall Deathseer, Saronite Chain Gang, Doppelgangster, all these cards are rare or above. So we don't really have those options, so we kind of got to go a bit old school with our aggressive Shaman, but we're going to use some of the same themes so that we can get, with our criteria, get on that upgrade path. So here's the core of the Aggro Shaman. I don't want to call it Token Shaman or anything, it's really just an aggressive deck. Here's the core that I've got, with that theme of wanting to create cards with multiple threats and taking advantage of them. Instead of using Evolve, we're going to try and take advantage using Flame Tongue Totem, Direwolf Alpha, these kinds of cards. So we've got the Fireflies and the Argent Squire. Firefly produces multiple threats, or at least gives us 1-drops, so that we can always try and fill out our board. Argent Squire is a nice sticky minion. It's got that Divine Shield, so hopefully it sticks around for more than a turn. Primal Fin Totem, every turn just vomits out another Murloc that we can hopefully use with our buff effects. And our end game is going to be to try and land a board. Hopefully it doesn't die, and then Bloodlust, and hopefully we can, deal upwards of 10 damage to our opponent and finish them off. So this is a great card at punishing slower decks that stumble. So using that as the core, I've really just filled it out with a lot of cards that we've played before in our aggressive decks. I've added in a Abusive Sergeant and a Glacial Shards at the bottom. Glacial Shard is great at stopping our opponent from trading into us. Abusive Sergeant could potentially be replaced with another 1-drop like a Diamol, even Acheris Veteran. Where's the Diamol? There it is, the Diamol. Just because the Diamol is a bit harder to kill with that 3 toughness. But definitely worth playing around with some different 1-drops there. Moving up, we've got the Bilefin Tidehunter. So this makes two minions, which is great because we can put a Flame Tongue Totem or a Direwolf Alpha between them, buff them up, give us some more efficient trades. Burlock, same reason as Glacial Shard, except the 2 toughness really makes a big difference. We don't have any Murloc synergies in here, but I think Burlock right now is in a pretty good place. We've already mentioned our kind of payoff cards there. I'm also choosing to just play 1 Stormforged Axe, although I think if you wanted to spend a bit of dust or you had them lying around, Jade Claws is a phenomenal card. Unfortunately is from Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, so it will rotate out, but if you've got these, definitely slot 1 or 2 in over the Stormforged Axe and probably the Burlock. Moving up with the Mana-Tide Totem, just the 1. I think this is pretty optional. If you've bought a lot of classic packs, you've probably got one of these. Just wanted another way to just get some threats. And these Mana-Tide's particularly good if your opponent's not doing too much in the early game, coining it out on turn 2, making them have to deal with it. You're usually going to draw a couple of cards, though any other card draw option is totally fine, whether that's Acolyte of Pain or Loot Hoarder. Any of those will work. I'm just choosing to play one of these to see how it goes. We've also got Shattered Sun Cleric here. I was thinking about playing the Pantry Spider. Where is it? There we go, the Pantry Spider. However, it is from Karazhan, so I think more people are going to have access to Shattered Sun Cleric, as it is just a basic card, and it's still very good. Has a reasonable body for a 3-drop, has an immediate effect, so we kind of get a 1/1 worth of like charge, because we can put it on a existing minion. And hopefully with a lot of these 1 toughness minions out there, it'll allow them to trade for a couple of minions. Vicious Fledgling, we've been through this one before with our Druid video, just a card that snowballs out of control. I tried playing some games without the card, and I think we were just really lacking that ability to capitalize on having a good board position. So Vicious Fledgling was hopefully going to let us do that and end some games, and hopefully we'll roll Wind Fury once at least. Flame Wraith Faceless, this card isn't getting a lot of love right now. It is just about to rotate, but I think minions with big bodies are in an alright place right now, particularly if you can combine them with some board presence. Hopefully this will let us end the game. 2 Ironbeak Owls and 1 Hex kind of as the flex slots in here. I chose Ironbeak Owl over other options just for the curve considerations. You can kind of see if we were to, like we could play Spellbreakers or something like that, but it would kind of make things a bit more top heavy. But it's perfectly reasonable to try and cut these, or maybe you want to play like a Swampers or something. And just the 1 hex. Might want to bump this up to 2 depending on what decks we see, but as always with the flex slots, it's you should base them off of what you're seeing on the ladder. If you're seeing a lot of, like, I don't know, Kingsbane Rogue or something like that, bring in all the Swampers. If you're seeing more like Warlock, they're trying to bring out Void Lords, or Priest trying to cheat things into play. Maybe you want to play Hex instead of Iron Beak Owl. And then we've got our Bloodlust at the end. So this deck looks okay. I'm not super confident, especially with the ladder as it is right now. But let's play some games and hopefully we can get a couple of Ws. Alright, we're here with our first game with the budget Aggro Shaman. We are against Rogue. Most rogues that we've been seeing are that I've been seeing at Kingsbane, or a couple of like Miracle Rogues. Majority Kingsbane though. Pirates. Alright, so I think we just want to try and get out on the board and contest with our opponent. Unfortunately, if they have a lot of the very typical road cards like Backstab, it's not going to end well for us. We'll play the Tide Hunter here, so our opponent can't trade into the Firefly, but also we can maybe try and roll a Healing Totem. Another card that I considered in the 2-drop slot was the Kobold Hermit, the one that summons a totem. It's pretty good. So if you do play this deck and you are not used to playing with Flametongue Totem, particularly with your hero power, you always got to try and keep in mind that your hero power always summons totems on the rightmost creature slot. So it means if you're playing minions, you want to play them on the left if you only have one, so when you do totem you'll get the benefit of the adjacency. It's a bit of a weird rogue deck. I definitely wasn't expecting pirates, so maybe this is just a tempo rogue. Corridor Creeper in there as well. Could just be it. It's a deck that this person hasn't changed their deck since the nerfs, but given they're at rank 9, that seems unlikely. But it is full on pirates. Yeah. This is where we really start to feel the pain of not being able to play Maelstrom Portal. Yep. It's also another matchup where a card like Jade Claws is really good, as we would have been able to use the claws to trade with two of our opponent's minions and also create another another minion that they have to deal with. Huh. Unfortunate. Yeah, really feeling the pressure there. Another thing to note is outside of the Mana Tide Totem, we really don't have a lot of draw or ways to produce additional threats. So a card like the Murloc Primal Fin that lets you, if you control a Murloc, discover another Murloc, could actually be an interesting way for us to produce more threats. I think we'll get rid of the Squire. I'll keep this in case it's like Aggro Druid. Aggro or Token Druid. But yeah, another way to like discover additional threats would be fantastic. So I don't want to, kind of didn't want to play the Stormforge Axe there, just because that's a pretty low level threat. And they may play, they're probably not going to play things into it. See if they have swipe here. Raven, okay. So they are on token / aggro druid with just a really weird start. This being one of the draws where we really want to hit the Bloodlust now. We do have the silence for this Tar Creeper. Have they played any spells this game? This could be a Spitefall. Come on, Bloodlust. Chain Gang. Come on, Bloodlust. Grand. So it is Spiteful. That being said, I don't think I've seen Spiteful Druid with Grand Archivist before.
Demonic presence at not safe level. Lockdown.
Yeah. Now we're out of silences and hexes, so any big threat that they land here is gonna be pretty bad. Though I think a lot of them are playing more like Medivh and obviously Spiteful rather than specific large taunt threats. Kellerson. Awkward that the Scarabs are 1/5, so we didn't have a lot of opportunity to trade off our weaker minions to make room on the board. And we should have buffed the Taunt Totem instead of the Wrath of Air Totem. That's an interesting one. I think I saw this list floating around, the Elemental Druid. Not today. Not today, Vicious Fledgling. A gallon of PCP was our undoing. Alright, let's try and get a win. I think we've had some great starts. Maybe we should be looking at adjusting the deck to have better finishes. Maybe we, if you've got them, you could be playing Icebreaker instead of Stormforged Axe. Combo with all our Glacial Shards and Burlocks. The other deck that you could try and move into is Aggro Shaman with the quest. If you've got that, it's actually a pretty fun deck to play. If at any point our opponent wants to just like play Explosive Trap, I think we'll gladly just concede. So this is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 3 times 6, 18. So we have 25 damage here. So if opponent did nothing. Of course they're gonna do a thing, how dare they? Interesting thing is that they haven't been playing secrets, so if they have the Spellstone, it's not great here. Could also have Coin Rexar, and that would be very bad. Huh. If this puts a Yashaj into play. Too scared. I'm too scared. Really just don't want to lose like that. It's so minor though. Yeah, for Exile. Taunt?
The light protects me.
Charge. Oh no. Alright. Hopefully they don't have any way to interact with any of our minions. And we'll get an attack off with this fledgling. That'd be great. If you could not roll a charge minion, that'll be also be great. That doesn't have charge. No! Fledgling down. A lot needs to go wrong for our opponent here for them to lose this game. Four, six, Snow Flipper. Soul Armor bot would have gotten pretty spicy with the Rek'Sai hero power. Yeah. Unfortunate. Well, really definitely felt the pain of not having some of the higher rarity cards in that one. Unfortunately we couldn't get any wins, but I still think this deck has some kind of legs, especially for a budget deck. Some things we might want to consider are just like having a better late game. Or having the ability to go under our opponent a bit more. If you have them, cards like Maelstrom Portal, Jade Claws, these things go a long way in making the deck slightly better, and moving towards like trying to create something like the Token Shaman is definitely a reasonable idea. It's a deck that does take some hits when we move into Year of the Raven. We're going to lose Evolve and Doppelgangster, as well as all the Jade cards, but it's still going to have a bunch of strong, individually powerful minions. So moving towards something like this, where we get to we have a lot of really nice interaction early on. Jade Claw's doing double duty as kind of like a charge minion and also another minion. I think that's where we want to be, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of a great budget Shaman deck to make that's got some legs. Let me know what you think and hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.